Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, it's just Cameron and I. We're
just Cameron. Wow.
Yeah,
I feel appreciated.
Look, it's Cameron and just me. Then fine,
whatever.
Okay,
yeah, cool.
That works. Sure.
Yeah.
It's just me and Cameron. How about that?
It's just two Justs.
Yeah, just Cameron and just me.
I wish we had a Justin on the podcast now.
Just in time.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing shit puns. Well, I am doing shit puns, but not that shit pun. Because I do have to come up with a title for this episode. So this week, it's going to probably be a little bit of a light show. We've got a little bit of news. We've been playing a few games, but it's been a busy week for all of us. So not as much as we'd like. For our Patrons, we just recorded the Starfield spoiler cast with a special guest, which we will be releasing in a few weeks. So keep your eye out for that. And if you are paying us, give us some money.
We're gonna quite a bit of extra content coming over the holidays.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a lot of extra recording for that kind of stuff for the holiday break when we take some time off. But I guess as always, we're doing the show live on Twitch. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. We've got Left Legacy in here, one of our wonderful patrons. Welcome. So come and hang out in the chat, shit post, ask questions. We try to interact with the community as much as possible. But we're on episode 103, so if you started here, you probably know that already. All right, well, let's get into our question. We got a last-minute question from Mr. Isaac.
I saw him try to sneak it in.
It was good. I caught it, so we managed to get it on the show, which is fantastic. He says, "Hey guys, the word challenge from last week, which you won, got me thinking about the Game Awards. Does being nominated for an award make you want to play that game, or is it just something you see on ads and don't really care about? For me, I'm more likely to discover a new game via Game Pass than through an awards show. Still, I'm curious what you think of them. Do you watch them? Do you think they're worth your time? Thanks for the show." Thank you for the question, Isaac. For context, the clues that I was giving for the previous word challenge were around awards that this game had won, which was Transistor won a lot of awards, or was nominated for a lot of awards for music and art. So, yeah, I guess it's probably maybe a sort of a two-part question. Is that, do you pay attention to like the Game Awards show and that kind of stuff? Is that like important to you? Are you interested in the awards themselves? And then secondly, do publications giving awards to things make you want to go and play them? Like if you watch like the Giant Bomb Game of the Year stuff that they do, or like IGN's Game of the Year lists stuff they put out, like, do you pay attention to any of that, Cameron?
I mean, I do because I work in the games industry, and
sure.
I think it's because I can work remotely in that now. It's nice to just have the Game Awards and that playing in the background, just to like part of my job is keeping up to what's going on in the industry.
Sure.
So essentially there's that, but then I think there's also the added context of we do a gaming related podcast, so of course we're going to cover the Game Awards and we're going to keep in that zeitgeist. I will say the part of it, like him mentioning Game Pass, is much more likely for us to discover a game through Game Pass because it's that ease of accessibility.
Very low barrier to entry, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just another form of awareness at the end of the day. Like there could be I know, for example, I love A Space for the Unbound, and I'm pretty sure it's not on a lot of people's radars. And something like the Game Awards is great for the Southeast Asian community and like recognizing Mojang for such an incredible game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like I think really people are mostly there to find out what the game of the year is, right? In terms of, I mean, like the reason why the Game Awards are so big is because it brings together a lot of people from like the publications as judges. Yeah. So it's not the be all and end all. Obviously, every publication has their own awards, and we're going to do our Game of the Year show probably in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like more of a consensus on like, okay, what's the Game Awards Game of the Year kind of thing. But on the other side, it's also great to see a lot of like indie recognition happening there as well for like you're saying, for games that, you know, the general public are probably going to miss out on. I mean, shit, like I missed a lot of indie stuff this year, and I played a shitload. There's just so much good stuff out there.
Like, you haven't got around to like Vember and that yet, have you?
Have
you done Vember?
Vember? No, oh, I did do Vember. Yes,
The
I did
cooking
Vember.
one, yeah.
Yeah, the cooking one. Yeah, Vember. Yes, I did do Vember, but only because it was on Game Pass and because it was short and
Yeah.
it was like you said, really easily accessible. And so for me, yeah, personally, I don't really pay a lot of attention to the award show itself. But like you said, obviously we'll talk about it because it's news and content. But if I wasn't doing this, we'd probably like I'd look it up and be curious. Like I'd probably see some other people's takes. I'd watch, I'm sure Scallop will talk about it. I'll probably check that out.
I mean, if I wasn't doing a podcast, I'd probably be looking at it on VGC the next day.
Exactly.
And just,
exactly.
At least just finding out who the winners are. All right, cool. And then if anything sticks out as interesting, then like the other thing too is like you get the game reveals of, for example, Hades 2 last year. Wasn't expecting Hades 2 to to be announced, but like big gets like that.
Yeah, the Game Awards in particular is a little bit interesting, right? Because it kind of has that like world premiere, and they do like the.
So Jeff actually said that's not going to be the case this year. They're not going to do world premiere.
Good.
And then the other interesting thing to me as well, which I don't know if you want to talk about it now or in the news, but Xbox last year.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, let's talk about it now. I think we can kind of touch on it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like Hellblade is the one thing that's been constantly tied to the Game Awards in terms of marketing. It wasn't there last year, but I would be sorry, let me rephrase. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a announcement at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I mean,
it would be really nice to have a shadow drop, but
there's no way, not this late in the year. I think, I'm with you. I think that, like I was saying, I think it's a bit of a weird one where, like the Oscars don't show trailers at the award show for upcoming movies, right? And they also don't have like the fucking Chick Hydrobot doing its fucking thing. Like,
imagine how much of a circle jerk that would be. If it was promoting future,
it would be pretty funny. But, and I know that like we're kind of comparing chalk and cheese here. Like video games are quite a different medium to movies, but obviously the Game Awards is very much supposed to be very much like the Oscars, right? That's kind of the theme that they're going for, even if it's a bit different in execution.
I think it's also the fact too, like you've got it all like under one person. That can make that executive decision of like, all right, this is going to like Hades 2 is going to drag attention to the show.
But I mean, like Jeff also does like Summer Games Fest, right, which is all trailers and stuff, and so it's kind of interesting to see like stuff you might I don't know.
Well, he does opening night now for Gamescom as well, so he does like three different showcases.
Right, and so it's interesting to see kind of the differences between them.
Actually, I forgot to add that to news. Gamescom actually announced that they're expanding to South America. So there's going to be 3 Gamescoms per year.
Damn, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So you got Singapore, you got Germany, and then I'm not sure. They just said Latin America. More details to come.
So yeah, okay. I wonder where they'll do that. That's interesting.
Yeah, wasn't expecting that this week. They just
that's an interesting piece of news. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And nobody's covered it. Like it's, I'm sure like when there's more details.
Right. They just basically said it was happening, but they didn't say where it was, when it was going to be, or anything.
Yeah, it was like just a tweet to say, "Hey, we're expanding to Latin America. Keep follow our account to."
Oh, okay.
Keep
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess kind of going back to the question, like we don't tend to discover games for the most part as awards, right? Because chances are, when we kind of last week we went through the awards list and kind of talked through some of the games, like we are pretty aware of most of those games. Especially in the AAA space, obviously you can't have missed most of them because they're obviously the biggest titles of the year.
They got the marketing spend behind them to really
exactly, and it's like, and that's kind of why this question, I think the thing with the award show is that it's kind of self-defeating in terms of discoverability, because the only things that are going to be on the award show are going to be the biggest games that the panels of judges have played, which is going to be the vast majority of the big AAA releases. And obviously we don't tend to follow that too closely because obviously we're more sort of achievement focused and a bit more laid back around not having to play the newest Zeitgeist stuff all the time. However, this year obviously has been such a banger year that we've just been like, fuck it, let's fucking play some games.
Yeah.
Like there aren't many years where I would go, yeah, I'm going to play like I'm gonna go through like Dead Space and Alan Wake 2 and Resident Evil 4 and Remnant 2.
Yeah.
And like every fucking big release this year I've just about played that was on Xbox at least. So really it just comes down to like the indie space, but we're pretty involved in the indie space.
I would say like especially the last few years during COVID too, the focus was indies.
Yeah, because AAA wasn't putting out anything.
Yeah, like I feel like they've kind of backed off the pedal in terms of adding like some stuff to Game Pass. Like in terms of indies.
Game Pass has become a little bit of a different beast. I think because now that they have some first party stuff, they're trying to push that. I mean, Starfield and Forza.
Makes sense.
Which is why, it makes sense, right? They want to put their first party stuff on there. And I think that the majority of the indie stuff that's been nominated is stuff that I've already discovered on Game Pass. Yeah. And if chances are, if there's something on there an indie game that I haven't played or not aware about, it's because it wasn't on Game Pass. It wasn't readily accessible for me to play, which means I didn't get like as much eyes on as you would like being in the Game Pass exclusive group where you get a bit of a fanfare whenever you get your you get to be part of the list with Far Cry 6 and all that kind of stuff when they're like, hey, we're bringing Remnant back just out of nowhere, and also you hear some indie games. It's like the example probably is like Rollerdrome, I guess, for like last week, right? But they're just like, yeah, it's coming to Game Pass. And it's like, and anything else? Like, no, Rollerdrome. Like, get it fucking like Rollerdrome and Doom. And like, those are the two things. And they kind of got, they got their little news cycle. And as much as like I like a lot of it, like I'm interested in some of the other stuff on the list, I only know about that stuff because you are even more in the indie space and you kind of told me about a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. Like I follow Steam, I follow the Xbox Wire articles. Like I keep as up to date as I possibly can.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that maybe like there's potentially some discoverability in the indie space there, Isaac, in terms of like, oh, okay, that's an interesting. Like, I'm cool to see like things getting awards that I've never heard of. I'm like, cool, okay, that I want to check out. But it is, I think it's the minority in terms of like things that we miss because we just play such a wide breadth of games.
I mean, going back to your comparison with the with the Oscars and all that kind of stuff, I feel like watching one of those showcases is more beneficial because they don't focus on the massive marketed movies as much.
Yeah, it's kind of it's
better for discoverability in terms of versus marketing.
I think there's yes to no, right? And I think the video game industry has a bit of this too, where it's like you don't tend to. Let me put it this way. You don't. The biggest games in the world are Call of Duty and Fortnite and like Madden, right?
Yeah.
And like, even though they're mass market appeal stuff, they don't tend to show up at these award shows very much because they don't tend to innovate very much. And like big, like Marvel movies don't tend to show up at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Like, let me put it that way, right? And so it's like there's definitely like. But the movies that do tend to show up are still big budget, but they're maybe a little bit more artistic.
Yeah.
Like you get your Nolan films, for example, is a great example of like Oppenheimer is a fantastic film, right? But that's not an indie film by any means. It's a big fucking budget film, but it's also not Transformers. It's not the Marvel movies. It's not a big blockbuster, sort of. But I guess it's
a blockbuster in a different sense.
It has like more like I hate to be like a fucking snob about it, but it's like it has more like artistic merit, you might say. And like I think the video game space is kind of a bit like that, where it's like, some of these games, like they didn't sell as well as fucking Modern Warfare 3 did, but we want to talk about Spider-Man 2, but also like Spider-Man 2 is a huge Marvel game with a huge budget behind it that took them years to make. Yeah. And so it's like kind of like it's interesting to kind of see like what ends up in these shows and what doesn't and potentially why.
Yeah. Fair point.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to watch the show. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I just have it running on the TV in the background. Sure. That's how I did it last year. So
I might do. I am curious about some of the announcements. I mean, that is the part I most care about. Obviously, the awards are somewhat interesting, but there's the stuff around Baldur's Gate, obviously being the big announcement. They said, like you said, there's some rumors around Hellblade and a few other bits and pieces.
So the two things I'm wondering, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
how they've been so quiet about Baldur's Gate. It would be incredible if they dropped it in a Game Pass.
Yeah.
I'm more so leaning into very unlikely, but what if?
I mean, they're definitely going to shadow drop it after the show. Like it's like, and it's available now because you have to. Because also there's no, it can't be like, oh, it's coming out in 3 weeks on Christmas, and it's like, no, the game is coming out today.
Today, yeah.
If not today, like 2 days from now or whatever. Like,
well, yeah. All right, yeah, okay. It's probably more likely it's just shadow drop. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, give us some fucking money for the biggest title of the year. I mean, I'm getting it. I'm getting it day one. So like,
it kind of makes me wonder. Like, I guess unless they wanted to buy ad space, they wouldn't have just dropped Remnant. Like, to me, that would have been a really cool drop. But then it's not their own showcase, so it doesn't really. Jeff could just go no.
I mean, to be fair, Jeff will take, like, you know,
Jeff will take the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean,
to the point that he needs to run the show.
There's a kind of give or take, right? Yeah. Where it's like Jeff obviously wants to have big announcements to the show because that's what pulls eyes in, you know. Yeah. Because you know, like Dice, like they do the Dice Awards every year, and no one fucking watches those because it's boring and stuffy, to be honest. Like it's obviously for developers, but developers aren't actors.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's a different thing.
I mean, outside of that, what is there? Like the Golden Joysticks,
BAFTAs, yeah.
I think BAFTA's probably the one to watch because it seems like it has more merit.
And it also has a lot of stuff, like the BAFTAs is for all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of like, it's interesting, kind of, yeah. And I think the UK kind of does a little bit better. But
I would tend to agree.
Yeah. So I think that, yeah, so I guess, you know, Jeff will pay out to get certain, or do deals to get certain games and trailers and announcements, right, for the show. But it'll also sell ad space to other stuff and things like that. So, you know, we'll see if the Dorito Pope makes a return. Man, that's just that image will never die. It's just, yeah.
I mean, in terms of all I've seen this year, it's essentially Xbox saying that they're going to have a presence at the showcase this year.
Yeah.
And that security is going to be buffed up after what happened.
Pretty much. That's, yeah. We're not going to hear about reformed Rabbi Bill Clinton. Hopefully not, anyway. Because while fucked up, it's a little bit funny. But yeah, Isaac, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, will we keep in touch? And obviously we'll report on it next week, or you will at least, because we're actually, timing-wise, I'm not sure how that's going to work, because I think, when does the show, is it on the Friday?
I think it's on the Friday morning, and then we'll be like a few hours after.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah. Well, I won't be here, but yes. So I'll be very interested to hear, but I'll send my thoughts in so you guys can read them out on the show. Yeah, so that'll be interesting, but I think that, like, it's kind of a known quantity at this point. We're basically just like, this is basically just like a circle jerk of like, hey, do people's opinions agree with mine? Because we know Baldur's Gate's winning all the awards, right? Like,
yeah, I would be very surprised if Baldur's Gate does not just absolutely clean house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and kind of on that, yeah, Xbox, like you said, promised that they're going to have some presence there. So interesting to see. They might have some Game Pass stuff to talk about, which I'm always excited about. But they're saying you won't want to miss it, which is some clickbait bullshit.
I feel like there's going to be some kind of Hellblade announcement, though. Like, why would they have, you know, their ramped up marketing efforts around it?
It's been a while. It's been a while. They haven't talked about Hellblade a lot recently either.
It wasn't at Gamescom either. So
no, exactly. So, you know, doing like an early release next year, probably not a bad idea. You know,
sometime Q1.
Well, I'd say, yeah, so like financial, yeah, like. Yeah, I'm thinking more like maybe like an April or a May, kind of like when things are quiet.
Yeah, fair.
Because there's so much shit that got pushed into February, of course. February, March is going to be nuts.
I mean, isn't that the case for like February every year now, though?
Yeah, it's fucking every year because no one can bring out a game in November anymore, and December is the death knell for a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be interested to see. And then they kind of mentioned there was the Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary stuff got leaked. Which I think we already knew was happening.
We knew, but then they delayed it to next year, I believe.
Yeah. So it looks like, yeah, I don't know what's happening there. But I mean, I love Beyond Good and Evil. It's a great game.
Never played it.
Yeah, I mean, will this be a good opportunity to do it if they bring it out?
Yeah.
I mean, because it'll be on Ubisoft Plus. So. What else you got for us this week?
Let's get into the Game Award news then. Xbox promises news you won't want to miss. Yeah, so it's December 7th, so it's next Thursday. Sorry.
Oh, well, December 7th, so it'll be.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry, it'll be there.
So it will be Friday. Yeah.
So it'll be Friday morning. If it's anything like last year. So yeah, they sent a Microsoft sent an email to fans along with major announcements and more Xbox news you won't want to miss. At 7:30 p.m. ET, 4:30 PT, and 12:30 A+1 GMT. Yeah. Yeah. There's not I've already talked about Hellblade 2. With the leak earlier this year that suggested Xbox Series X and S mid-gen refreshes could arrive in 2024. Actually, that's a...
No, there's no way they announced that at the Game Awards. That's something you put on your own show. That's you wait for...
But they announced the Series X at the Game Awards originally.
They really... Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe they will announce it. I don't know. Like, plans might have changed considering it all got fucking
leaked. I mean, considering it got leaked, yeah, that is... Yeah, I don't know.
They said they were looking to potentially launch them in July. Yeah, so now would probably be not a bad time to talk about it and then show them off at Summer Games Fest.
I mean,
a month later.
That's the most likely kind of stuff. Yeah, it's going to be the fact of maybe they show off like the new gen refresh. Maybe they show off Hellblade 2. I just like, all right, cool. Baldur's Gate, Game of the Year. Guess what? It's dropped today on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Pick it up. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Are you going to play it as soon as it drops, or?
Probably, yeah. I'll have to try and make time. But yes, I definitely... I don't think I'm going to get it done in time for us to talk about it for Game of the Year, unfortunately. But that's Larian's fault, not ours. But I will have I will do a spoiler cast for it at some stage.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, because there's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I got asked today. Are you going to do co-op with anybody? Is the other question.
Yeah, I think Char was going to pick it up.
Yeah.
So we might run through it in co-op. I haven't looked at like the trophy list or achievement list yet. So
I got asked tonight, but I don't know. Like, I don't think it's crossplay, as far as I'm aware.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, some people I know have it on Steam and they were interested in it. I'm like, figure it out.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
What else you got for news?
All right. Bungie has removed a Destiny 2 starter pack DLC after a day following complaints it was overpriced.
Yeah, $15, yeah.
The $15 DLC was not bringing joy, quotation marks. So yeah, it basically had free cosmetics, some materials, including 125,000 glimmer, 50 enhancement cores, 5 enhancement prisons, and an ascendant shard. So, fuck all, essentially.
I mean, again, none of those words mean anything to me, but people seem to be upset.
Yeah. Some players argued that by giving new players exotic weapons and materials, the DLC was essentially a pay-to-win situation. Meanwhile, others claimed that even if it was technically pay-to-win, there likely wouldn't be much winning going on because the exotic weapons included weren't particularly devastating, and the materials can be fairly easily in-game. The general consensus was the DLC didn't constitute a starter pack at all, because the items provided weren't actually the best choices for players starting the game for the first time, and that Season Pass cost less than $15 and provide far more useful content. I think Destiny in its current stage has a really big fucking issue in terms of...
they just cannot stop shooting themselves in the foot. They just fucking have it on full auto, just holding down the trigger.
I mean, in terms of like the content scheme though, like you go into it now and you got no idea what you're meant to buy for what. For a new player, it's very confusing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been tempted to play Destiny because I definitely get the hype, but man, it just feels like every time I hear about Destiny, it's bad fucking news.
Yeah. I will say it has probably the best gunplay out of any...
Yeah, but that's Bungie, right? Like, Bungie have always fucking... Like, Halo is some of the best gunplay ever. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
But you have to deal with all the other bullshit around the game to get to the good shooty part.
Yeah. I mean, this comes after them getting rid of their community and... community people and a whole bunch of other staff earlier. What was that, a month ago? But yeah.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, a few weeks ago. Yeah, about fuck, time's gone quick. Yeah. It's fucking December already.
Man, I still got so many other games I need to play.
yeah, it is a real shame because Destiny has kind of had its ups and downs, but it just has not had a good run recently, especially with the delay of the final shape, which they also confirmed this week, I think.
Yeah, it's meant to be June now, right? June 2024.
So and this current season is basically going to run all the way until then. They're not doing any other seasonal content outside of it. So
and they got like story updates or something after that, which I think is just like post support.
Yeah, because it's basically the end of the current iteration of Destiny 2. Whatever it looks like in the future, I think who knows what that looks like now.
Yeah, I'm interested in like where they're going to go, whether they're just going to put all this stuff into Marathon. Or if they're going to...
No, I think the audiences are quite different. And I think that obviously extraction shooters have their place. And I think that's an interesting new market for them. But there's also like the fact that Bungie have basically been press ganged by Sony to basically be the people overlooking their whole big live services push, which they also have now cut back from saying they're going to have 10 games to only having 5. That's still too fucking many. But yeah, so I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of those meetings recently around like what the fuck is going on over at Sony and in this like live service space with Bungie.
Yeah. I know. I'm just interested to see like what fills that void past Destiny 2. Like if Destiny 2 is to like, you know, essentially wind down, there's no new content, where are those players going to go? What are they going to...
Well, hopefully they just keep playing Destiny for the rest of their lives. That's what they want, right? Keep spending money on starter packs. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Like at this stage, I bet they don't even know.
Yeah.
I bet you they're like, we have no fucking idea what to do. Like, because one day they might do a Destiny 3, but I don't think now is the time.
Yeah, no. All right. You want to move to the next one?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Xbox exec says Microsoft wants to bring Game Pass to PlayStation and Nintendo.
Now, this isn't new as such. Like Phil Spencer has talked about like wanting this to be like the thing forever, but I remember there was the whole thing back when the Game Pass was really taking off, and they were like, "Yeah, we've got a great relationship with Nintendo," and Phil Spencer was like, "Yeah, we want to get on the Switch," and then that we got like Ori with achievements, and that was it. Everything else died, and then
we got Minecraft.
Oh yeah, and then they also got Cuphead on there for some reason or whatever it was. There was some talk around that.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind if they continued doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, why not?
Put it on the Switch.
I know why not, but yeah.
But I mean, like, okay, quite quick side question for you. Would you mind if Xbox first parties went onto the Switch? And I'm saying like the kind of ones that make sense, like Minecraft Dungeons and
Halo. Yeah.
I don't say Halo being on Switch.
Why not? Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Sure, absolutely. I would love for more people to be able to play the Xbox first parties.
I think like family friendly content.
I mean, like Nintendo will bring out whatever they want to bring out, right? Like I don't see Nintendo making a Halo game. But them like they still publish like Call of Duties and stuff on Switches and things. Well, like, maybe not.
They used to, yeah.
They used to is what I'm saying. It's like it's more a technical restriction as opposed to an ethical or moral one.
How much of it is a technical restriction though? Because apparently the sale. What was the last studio that did do a COD on?
Probably Treyarch.
Yeah, but weren't they working with another studio and then the sale?
Yeah.
It's like Black Ops was abysmal.
Well, like Switch ports have been. I mean, look at Mortal Kombat this year, right? Like Switch ports are like the Switch is.
Oh, this was like Wii U, but yeah.
Sure, but you get my point. That I think that like that's never been their strategy, right? They've never been like they want to have a powerhouse device. They're not making Steam Decks or ROG Allies. They're making Switches. Even like the new Switch won't have. It'll be good, but it won't be won't be kicking down doors.
Well, see, I'm trying to remember where I saw it this week. Somebody was saying that the new Switch had the potential to split into 2 screens.
I mean, it makes sense. I could see it.
Which, very interesting possibilities with that.
Yeah, maybe they make it fold over. Maybe make one part of it 3D. Maybe you get like a little like a pen thing that you can use on the bottom screen because it's a touch screen. I'm just throwing out ideas here. Nintendo should be listening. The joke is I'm describing the 3DS. That's the joke, Cameron.
I don't know. I play Xbox. I don't play Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't know. But so a long time ago, they brought out this handheld called the 3DS, which was a 3D handheld with a stylus that basically was exactly what you're describing as the new Switch.
So I got given my sister's DS to gift for Percy.
Yep.
And it's so remarkable. So my sister now is 18. So remarkable going through that DS and seeing like a 5-year-old taking all these selfie.
Yep.
Like
no DSi. Yeah.
Yeah, on the DSi. And I was just like, God, they look so similar at that age. Anyway, quick side note.
David, think of the benefit the other way. Xbox games on the Switch means we get Nintendo games on Xbox. That is literally never happening.
Yeah, no way.
Nintendo will take a fucking Halo battle rifle, but you ain't getting Mario for anything. Anything. I would love it. I would love to play a fucking Kirby. Because that is the thing, is that like because I exclusively play on Xbox and PC, Nintendo is kind of the last bastion of games that I just do not have a lot of experience with. Like, yeah.
You know what? Like, even if we did, we wouldn't get achievements. Nintendo would do the bare minimum.
I kind of don't give a shit, actually. I would probably play a few of them. Probably not as many as I would. If they had achievements...
You'll play the first parties.
Yeah. That's all I care about. But yeah, but it's like, if they brought up like I would have bought Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Xbox to play it,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
I'd play Pikmin. I love Pikmin.
Sure, exactly. I might have brought Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know. The New Zelda stuff doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
And
I will say, is it bad that I've seen like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild and I've been like, hell yeah, let's go back and play Wind Waker?
Yeah, actually,
that is not the reaction you're meant to be having, but I'll be like,
that's kind of where I'm at with those titles. I mean, I own Breath of the Wild.
I'm at the point now where I'm just like, fuck it, I'd love to play Twilight Princess. Maybe I just I should.
Yeah, no, just go and buy a GameCube.
Yeah, I'll go and buy a GameCube.
Go buy an old GameCube, yeah. But pick it up on the Virtual Console. Yeah, for sure. No, that's exactly what you were going to say.
I mean, I do own a GameCube.
Yeah, I mean...
I do own a Wii. I do own a Wii U.
Yeah, true. I grew up with a lot of Zelda stuff and like a lot of the Mario stuff and Nintendo in general. So yeah, I would love to see that stuff on Game Pass, on Xbox. I mean, that's obviously never going to happen. But the strategy is that like Xbox, like their money making comes, their potential growth and buy-in into the ecosystem comes from the viability of Game Pass on as many platforms as possible. Yeah. So it's definitely in their best interest to put those on as many consoles as they can and work out deals for them. I could still see it maybe happening for Nintendo because the audiences are so disparate in that you don't like most people who play the Switch play them for the first parties. So having the availability of Game Pass stuff that wouldn't normally be on a Switch and being able to use cloud gaming for example, kind of is maybe a bit more appealing than going with your direct competitor PlayStation, who have very similar library of games.
I'd be very interested to find out how well the digital stuff sells now. Like for Nintendo, because every time I look at any Nintendo product, it's just way overpriced, especially like third-party stuff.
They don't do discounts. Yeah, it's always ridiculous.
Anyways, yeah, so it's pretty much old news that they wanted to put it onto other stuff, but
they've kind of talked about it again here.
Tim Stewart told attendees at the Wells Fargo TMT Summit that the company's ultimate goal is to bring all of its content and services to every screen that can play a game. The mission is designed to reap higher profits from Microsoft's gaming division. That's traditionally been the case with its relatively low-margin console business, the exec said. Yeah, it's pretty... I mean, like, back in 2020, Phil Spencer said that he wanted to take Game Pass everywhere. And I mean, even now, like, having... they got COD onto... What was that cloud service?
GeForce?
Yeah, I think it was this week.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And they definitely have an interest of doing that, partly because they don't want regulators coming after them, but also because it makes sense. Like, it's like, especially in the PC market, because PC Game Pass hasn't had the growth they've wanted.
Yeah.
Getting onto GeForce makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I'm wondering if they can't potentially get Game Pass everywhere, whether they just get that kind of... Okay. Bear with me for a second, but what if you were paying for your Nintendo subscription and that was the only way to access a particular Xbox first-party title? It's still advertising in the sense of, like, you can't pick up a physical, but it might convert some people to buying a console and then getting paid Game Pass that way.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I feel like their strategy has always been the Series S has always been at such a low price point to get people as like a Game Pass machine.
Yeah.
Because and until it's on literally every TV as an app, and they have the cloud gaming stuff like down pat and complete control over it. I don't know, like I don't see Microsoft ever exiting the console market, but it is clear that their strategy has shifted even more so towards Game Pass and the sort of the sort of subscription service stuff. Because they've obviously seen some great success there. Yeah. And I'm relatively okay with it, you know. Like I definitely know there are downsides. I'm not a huge one for game ownership. I don't really care that much. Games are sort of disposable for me. I play them as experiences and I'm done.
Yeah.
But I know that some people are very want at least be able to buy the games, even if it's digital. Physical preferable for a lot of people too. But
I make it makes sense for some past me would have just bought a COD and played that religiously, for hours on end. But I mean I'm pretty much the same as you. Like as an achievement hunter, it's essentially have those experiences and then move on. I mean the only downside for us is essentially having a DLC or title update for a game that's left Game Pass.
Yeah, which is not super common, but it can be a bit of a pain. Yeah. What else have we got on the news front?
All right, let's see. You want to talk about the Assassin's Creed Black Friday deal?
Yeah, the Black Friday deal that you couldn't get away from. If you might, most people have heard about this by now, but basically, Ubisoft was apparently putting full screen ads into map screens. There was some people playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They opened up the map screen, and instead of showing the map, it showed an ad for 20% off the buying Mirage for Black Friday, and then showed the map afterwards. Yeah. And everyone got very, very upset, quite rightly, because that's fucked. Yeah. Ubisoft were quick to come out and basically reverse it and basically said that it was a bug, and that it was supposed to be a pop-up on the menu screen when you started the game to let you know about the thing, which is something they have done in the past, but they miscoded it. Cynical me tells me that that's absolute bullshit, and they were trying some shit to try and get away with it, and it did not go well. I bet $20 we see this again in a year or so, and maybe a slightly different format, but something along those lines.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if it's at the very start of the game, but if you're...
I mean, yeah, you log in with the game, but that's something they always do. Like they always cross-advertise the games. I mean, fucking COD will always show you the next COD. Like, it's just how these games work.
I just want an NPC quest now. Give me something creative. If you're gonna do it, give me something creative.
Well, that was this is going way back now, but I remember for Dragon Age Odyssey. No, it's Odyssey. Dragon Age Origins, rather. Yeah. Because there's Assassin's Creed Origins as well. So the original Dragon Age. There was a guy in your camp that you could talk to, and he would just be like, "Hey, I need some help with this thing. I have like a quest." He has like a quest marker. You go and talk to him. It's like, "Yeah, I need help with this thing. You need to come with me on this quest. As long as you give me $6 to buy this DLC pack for this mission that you need to go on." And you're like, "Motherfucker, you are standing at my camp. You are standing in my camp asking for a quest." And he's just like, "Hey, buddy," BioWare's like, "Give me some fucking money. Give me some fucking money. You can go on this quest to get Shale or whatever."
As seedy as that is, I kind of love it.
I mean, it's like hilarious now, considering but yeah, it was pretty fucking rude. So it has been done. It did not go down well for a lot of them, but it's pretty funny.
I'd love it if there was just like a single NPC that I could walk up and they just start talking gibberish, and then it's like 15% on Mirage until
it's like a town crier with DLC sales. Jesus Christ, that is like the dystopian video game future that we're heading towards. Is that and you know what it'll be? It'll be that like. You walk by the guy, and instead of him saying, "Oh Lord, watch out for the dragon," he'll just start saying, "Hey, have you tried Destiny? Destiny's pretty good. We've got a sale going for Destiny. You want to check it out? Come and talk to me, and we'll get you a coupon code." Or it'd be like, "Hey, have you tried Raid Shadow Legends?" Like they'll just put ads for other games in there.
You check behind the bushes. There's a 24-pack of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, exactly. You got to drink your verification can. Yeah, that actually sounds like hell. I mean, look, it could be a mistake. Shit happens, right? But the fact that this got live and through testing, come on, like Ubisoft, you ain't slick. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny. I was just thinking like, honestly, just before this happened, all that, how much Ubisoft has actually like bettered themselves in my mind this year. Like, I don't typically play Ubisoft games, but I've played Motorsport this year. I played Mirage. I enjoyed both of them. I'm actually kind of hyped for Avatar.
Yeah, okay.
Depending on how the co-op and Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I like when we talked about like Ubisoft Plus not being a great deal yet because there was only old content that had been on sale a million times. I think we're finally getting to that stage now where there's a few things on there that I'm like, oh, actually, I want to try that. Like, I want to play. Like I like Mirage is the first one that comes to mind. I'd like to play The Crew. I'm definitely going to play. Assuming that it's not completely fucked, I probably will play Avatar. Prince of Persia looks interesting. Star Wars Outlaws, like there's a fair amount. Like Ubisoft have actually had some decent announcements. Again, we still need to see the games themselves, but yeah, I think they seem to be like on the right track.
In terms of it, I feel like they're solid, like 8 out of 10 kind of games. Like like Mirage was inoffensive, but for the most part, like a very enjoyable time, except for some, just some areas just being really bad with frame rate.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I wanted to bring up quickly Far Cry 6 coming to Game Pass. Is interesting to me because
the fact that it's not on Ubisoft, like they're not just doing Ubisoft Plus.
They have it on the PC version, I believe, with the Game of the Year edition, but they don't have it on console yet.
Interesting. So maybe there's a deal there. I mean, I'm sure that Ubisoft would be more than willing to go like, hey, we could put this on our service, or you could give us some fucking money and we'll put it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit weird though, right? The fact that like they have their own subscription service, but they're still selling their games to other subscription services on the same console. Like it'd be one thing if it was like, selling it on like a system that doesn't have the game or doesn't have doesn't have Ubisoft Plus on Nintendo systems, so you put it out there or some shit. But like I don't know, it's weird that you can get it from two different places.
Yeah. Because like EA Play like bundled it with Ultimate. I'm trying to think of the last time anything got added to EA Play.
Dead Space was the last one.
Probably. Oh, okay. Yeah, because that would be Game Pass Ultimate, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, it's EA Play, but obviously Ultimate is the place to play.
EA Play, yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that it was accessible through that. I thought it was actually Game Pass.
No, it's all just tied in. You can basically play any of that stuff.
Makes sense.
It is like sectioned off a little bit, but it's all available.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ah, cool. Anything else you want to say about Mirage?
Nah, let's just keep going. I am interested in playing it, but I didn't think it was like Game of the Year material enough to really push it this year.
It's a good like holiday kind of game, I'd say.
Yeah, I've mentioned, like I might pick up Ubisoft Plus like over the holiday break and just play it for a few weeks.
Just blitz through some stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Xbox exclusive Everwild is still live according to a new job ad.
I do not believe you. I do not believe
I do not believe it's Everwild anymore. Everything.
No, yeah, exactly. I was going to say like this shit is vaporware. We have not heard anything about this.
This is the what's the ship called?
What, the Obra Dinn?
No. The the ship that like gets repaired over time. The ship of
Theseus. This is Theseus' ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is 100% the case. This is the video game ship of Theseus. This is 100% what they've done with Everwild.
Yeah, 100%. They've just rebuilt it. It's so. I like Rare. For the most part.
I like old Rare.
Yeah, sure. Like I like Rare. I like and respect Rare. Sea of Thieves is 100% not my thing, but obviously they hit something with that, right?
Yeah.
Took them a little bit to get it going, but
they had a vision. They carried it out.
Yeah, and people fucking love that shit.
It's like one of the biggest Xboxes.
Yeah, exactly. And then they managed to make deals with all the pirate properties. They got the fucking Pirates of the Caribbean thing. They did the Monkey Island stuff. They nailed it.
Being able to like get shit going with Disney.
Yeah, pretty surprising.
Yeah.
But Everwild, we saw one trailer for it. I was actually like, oh, this looks interesting. What's the game like? Nothing.
Yeah.
I've been talking about this for years. Been like, where the fuck is this thing? Like I said, it was revealed in 2019. Yeah. It's been 4 years. Like, what the fuck?
Do you?
But like you said, yeah, apparently it is still a thing. There is a job listing for it.
Do you only respect Rare because they made the Rare achievement sound? Remember, that is a fact.
That is a fact. That is a fact. I had forgotten that. Actually, the reason I respect Rare is because the Rare Replay collection is such a great collection of games. Wish the achievements were a bit easier, but
I mean, I love GoldenEye. Like going back to GoldenEye and stuff.
I've been thinking about it. But I don't have as much reverence for it as you do. But like I love Banjo-Kazooie. I love Conker's Bad Fur Day. Like I love, like you said, I love old Rare. The Connect stuff they can kind of, I was like, whatever. But
I mean, anything prior to like 2010 when they got acquired,
Let me put it this way: I was excited for Everwild because it looked like it was a rare ass game doing like rare, like it was gonna be like it looked like it was gonna be like, this is gonna be an interesting rare game, and it's not gonna be a Connect sports game. It's not going to be a live service always online fucking ship thing where you got to get your friends. It looked like it was going to be like a cool, interesting adventure with really trippy visuals and music and stuff. And I was like, on it.
Yeah.
Also, it's actually, David, I agree. Nuts and Bolts is actually a lot of fun.
I know.
They still need to make Banjo 3, but I know it's not the same. I know it's not the same, but it is a fun game.
I had a GameCube. That point in time, they could have made it. Nikita loves to remind me about all the Conker stuff too, like how it was like split off of the Banjo team and like all that stuff. I want a sequel to Conkers. Give me a sequel to Conkers. Give me that like classic 2000s Rare kind of.
To be fair, 90s. Like, hey, if Game Pass needs some content, some small like indie sized, again, not like obviously not indie, but like smaller sized games would be great fucking like. Rare, another Banjo.
Rare's the shit, like Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, this kind of stuff. Rare is the company to do though. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that they would be the perfect studio. Well, I assume they would be the perfect studio. Obviously, the name on the door might be the same, but the people working there may, but who knows? It's been a long time. But I feel like that's the kind of thing where you're like, like you could definitely do some stuff with some IP. I mean, you guys Microsoft fucking own half the IP and gaming IP in the world now. So put out some fucking games for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a job ad for it. There isn't really much else that we know about it, but it's interesting to see that it's still being worked on.
It was originally announced during XO19. Suggested Everwild was targeting a 2024. No chance. No chance.
Unless it's a real big fucking surprise.
Or unless they really, unless the scope of it's much smaller than what we think.
Yeah, or they've done some serious work behind the scenes and just been keeping very quiet about it. Doesn't seem likely. Speaking of vaporware, we've also, looks like we're going to be seeing Skull and Bones on February 2024. I will believe it when I sell it. Why are they even bringing it out?
Because they put 6 years into it. They need to make the money back.
Okay, yes, sure. But, I mean, come on. Like, Sega knew that Hyenas was going to be a flop, and they put a shitload of money into that, and they're like, nah, just shut that shit down. Wasn't the whole thing about, the whole reason they're bringing it out is because the Singapore government has something to do with it, or some investment thing, they have to fucking release it?
Yeah, I think that's actually true.
There was some rumor about that, again, because it was made by the team who was working on Assassin's Creed 4 back in the Black Flag back in the day. Which, Jesus.
You know what? I will actually try this just because of Ubisoft Plus.
Hey, I mean, it'll be free, right? So, free, quote unquote. People get annoyed. People get annoyed when you don't put the quote.
I mean, I will pay for a month of Ubisoft Plus to play this. I think the fun for this game is going to be playing with friends.
I will let you play and talk about it on the show, and then laugh when it's bad.
I mean, it will be the friends we made along the way, but it was. You know when you play a bad game, but you play it in a group of 4 and you just laugh at everything at the same time? It will be that experience.
Yeah, Vermintide, right?
No, that's bad. That makes you want to cry.
That's true. Actually, that's a fair point. Brad was like, "Hey, do you want to play Vermintide? We're going to get a group together." And I was like,
and then we haven't done anything in the last 2-3 weeks.
Don't put that evil on me. I ain't dealing with that shit. What do we got about Metal Hellsinger here?
So I wasn't aware, but Metal Hellsinger is coming up with a DLC called Purgatory. And essentially, they were doing this thing on Twitter or X, where if they received 666 likes, they would announce the first vocalist for the upcoming DLC, which is Joe Bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they also gave a small sample of Bad Metal's Helsing track "Mouth of Hell." I wanted to mention the game because I thought it was like one of the best. It's not one of the best indies I've ever played, but it is a thing that it knows what it wants to do and it does it well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I enjoyed it for what it was,
Yeah.
and I was like, it's a
Didn't
cool,
overstay its
interesting thing.
welcome.
No, yeah, exactly. It was only what, like 6 hours long.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the music. Fucking
Assist mode in that with accessibility.
Yeah, which is nice. Yeah, exactly. And you can just play it a bit more like a regular shooter. I like the weapons. It was fun. I mean, I wish there was some variety in the bosses, but outside of that, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh man, that last song also is just, that final boss song is fucking amazing. But also Surge is just, yeah.
It's still in Game Pass, right?
No.
Damn it.
Left Game Pass a while ago.
All right, so DLC is coming out December 7th. We might have to pick it up.
We'll see. We'll see if
it's
achievements. I mean, they have done some DLC for the game in the past, but this looks like it's going to be. This is like paid.
This is their first paid update.
Yeah.
We'll offer up some more unholy content to help bolster your demon-filled Ribbon adventure. Within the pack, you'll find 3 brand new songs, 3 skins, and a fresh weapon to obliterate your enemies with.
Yeah. Hey, sounds good.
Yeah. Hopefully, it isn't too expensive if that's the case. If they add more achievements. Anyway, the next thing that I wanted to cover off, Minecraft Legends got an update that boosted its gamer score up to 2,000.
Yep. I've already reinstalled it. I'm ready to get back into it.
You gonna carry it? Is this a game you can carry with? I don't know.
Nah, not well. Sort of. I mean, it's a co-op game. So like you can get 4 people. Like the game works a lot better in co-op. In fact, like the single player experience is not great. So I'm going to go through it with Aptos because we went through the original 1,000. But it looks like the new stuff is kind of like modifiers on the campaign. So you can start a new campaign with like low gravity and all that kind of stuff. And they've kind of added a new mob with witches. So and apparently like you can set all the difficulty, everything else to easy. So like, because we've already done like the hard mode playthrough, we're just going to make a new campaign with like the lowest settings. So it's going to be like the enemies will be weaker. They'll have less spaces. It'll be quicker to finish it. And we'll just add those extra modifiers. Looks like 4 to 5 hours for the new list.
Yeah.
Which is not too bad actually. Like I was worried they were going to go more down the Minecraft Dungeons route, and I'm glad they haven't.
Yeah. But like 1,000 gamer score for an update from a first party
for 10 achievements is a big fucking jump. Yeah. But Microsoft can put as many achievements as they want on the game, so I guess they don't really care.
I mean, there's I'm guessing I will get roped in anyway. One of custom versus game with 2 or more players. I could always jump in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, but people it's Game Pass, right? So it's easy to get groups together for it.
Yeah, I thought I would quickly mention that.
Speaking of Game Pass, what have we got going on there?
We got a hell of an announcement this morning. So we got Remnant 2 and Remnant Fall of the Ashes.
1 and 2, yeah, 1 and 2.
1 and 2. So 1 was originally in Game Pass. It left in March this year or last year? I can't remember.
Last year, I think.
Last year? So yeah, that's re-entered Game Pass. Highly recommend it. And Remnant 2, which me and Matt have been blitzing through and loving it. I don't know. Where do you lean? I personally enjoy the first one a little bit more in terms of its world design.
Yeah, I think having the game be less, like the structure of the game being less RNG or randomized by having it's like you go to this world, then you go to this world, then you go to this world, and it has like more of a through line for the story.
Yeah.
Whereas, and again, like the story's not the biggest thing in the game, but it is still, it's a reason to play it. But everything else is better in the second game. I got to be honest. The gunplay is better. The upgrade system is better. The sort of like archetype stuff and abilities are more interesting. Like I feel like for the most part, I think the second game is a vast improvement over the first one for like mechanically.
I still think it's like very close. Like you still.
Oh, they're both fantastic fucking games. I mean, they're maybe a little bit rough around the edges, but I would play both of them. They're both really good games. And great co-op experiences for sure.
So definitely recommend them. We've got today Spirit of the North Enhanced Edition and SteamWorld Build. hitting Game Pass. I'm interested about SteamWorld build.
Yeah, SteamWorld are interesting. They always do like a weird kind of. They do a lot of takes on that.
Well, they got Dig, they got Build, they got what else is there?
What was the side-scrolling shooter one? SteamWorld Heist.
I saw their thing at like PAX.
They did.
Tower Defense was DSI. SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Heist, SteamWorld Dig 2, SteamWorld Quest,
Quest was the one.
Yeah. Build, and then Headhunters coming out soon.
It's cool. It's like it's really interesting to see them be like, yeah, this is this world from another angle.
Yeah.
Let's just do a completely different kind of game. It's interesting, like they challenge themselves to do that.
Yeah.
I like the SteamWorld aesthetic. It's cool. I just wish it's one of those things where like the games are quite big time sinks and tend to be quite difficult. So I haven't really spent as much time with them as I'd like. You know, like a SteamWorld Dig game is quite involved.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes with waiting for some completions to run through.
Yeah, for sure.
December 5th. I honestly haven't looked into these games very much, but Clone Drone and the Danger Zone.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, somebody in our community said it was one of their favorite games.
One of their favorite games. Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I didn't realize was not part of Game Pass.
It was for a bit, but got taken out because they had the exclusivity deal. But obviously, they don't
so that's
But
fixed.
that's cool. No, I mean, like Rise of the Tomb Raider is probably the best of the three games.
Yeah.
I would say. Actually, no, it is the best of the three
It is the
games.
best, and it is very difficult.
It is quite difficult. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. There is with some of them, especially the extra mode stuff, the survival stuff gets quite challenging.
Yeah. While the Iron's Hot, and then
never heard of it. Looks interesting.
Never heard of it. What was the Aftermath, which I imagine would be another one of those really long ones, but relatively good game.
World War Z was 200 plus hour completion. Yeah. So yeah, I imagine it'll be more of that.
The one I'm excited for, Goat Sim Free, because that allows me to get a co-op partner and actually finish it off.
It's a real shame they never got the second one, but that's fine.
Against the Storm, which is a really good get. I'm just trying to remember if it's the exact one that I'm thinking of. Yeah, roguelike strategy game. Dark fantasy city builder where you must rebuild civilization in the face of the apocalyptic rains. I really like the aesthetic of this when I've seen it.
A lot of things on that genre list that I'm not a fan of. I gotta be honest. I heard like roguelite and I heard fucking city builder. I was like, oh Jesus, okay.
Yeah, this game's won a bunch of awards.
Yeah, okay. I might give it a look.
Depends on the achievement list. 100% depends on the achievement list. Tin Hearts, which is one that I'm personally been waiting for a while. They only just recently fixed the last unobtainable achievement, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I remember hearing about it and people being like interested, but I heard it was kind of fucked.
And then December 14th, we've got Far Cry 6.
Good get, sort of, maybe.
Longest one since Far Cry 2. I need to go back to it.
Yeah, people.
It wasn't catching me.
It didn't catch a lot of people. Actually, it seems like, a lot of disappointed people who were like, oh, they're changing it up, and then they're like,
From what okay, weird comment, but like the previous games felt a lot more linear, except for 5. I didn't enjoy 5 because it felt like 3 disjointed games.
Yeah, I liked 5, but that was definitely the biggest issue with that. It was 3 completely separate stories. Yeah,
6 feels like, and again, don't jump down my throat about this, but it feels very sandboxy compared to the other ones.
Okay.
And like they're already sandboxy. Like they do operate like that.
Yeah, they have a lot of beaches. Yeah.
But 6, it just felt like way too much.
We'll talk about sandboxes in just a minute.
Yeah. Anyway, Game Pass Core, we got some update there as well. This
is the first update for Game Pass Core that they've done, right?
Yep. So Chivalry 2 and Totally Reliable Delivery Service, which I think are 2 great games to like have in that core service.
Yeah, Totally Reliable Delivery Service is fucking great. I'm glad it's been in Game Pass for as long as it has, because it's a hilarious game.
I hadn't played it until we did a stream on the Game and Cancer channel. So it was me, I think Killer Anubis, and Shane, who like Magic House, who were on the podcast before. Shane just like pivoted something cross. No, it was somebody like dropped something down the mountain. Yeah, and he delivered it, and it was like absolute amazing.
Slide it right into the and we
were broadcasting at like 7 a.m. in the morning, so nobody saw it. There's a clip somewhere.
I saw the clip. I remember the clip for this. Yeah, it was a great clip. Cool. Yeah, the majority of that game was played with Mike, where she was flying a helicopter and I was holding a package with one arm and holding onto the other side of the helicopter with the other and just being kind of flown around. And of course, the helicopters control like shit because instead of a steering wheel, you have two levers. You're like, well, left or right or up and down. And you just kind of just, yeah, that game's fucking hilarious. It's very frustrating, but very funny. Chivalry 2, I've been considering maybe getting into. I don't know. It's like obviously multiplayer, so you need to get a good boosting group together or something for it if you want to do it. But
it's a good game. I think the only issue, like when I was first playing it, was like the bread achievement, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
It's like one of those games that you can like spend a few hours, you really enjoy it, and then it starts to become a bit samey.
That's kind of There's only so much medieval shit I can deal with.
Yeah. But in terms of like the combat and all that, if you got friends together doing like some of the 3v3 kind of stuff, that's where it's most enjoyable. In terms of the leading game pass, we've got Chained Echoes, Opus Magnum, Potion Craft, Alchemist Simulator, and Rubber Bandits. I'm probably going to try and get Opus Magnum done because of these Zachtronic titles.
Yeah.
I think Rubber Bandits is probably the shortest on there, like 2 to 3 hours, right?
I play Rubber Bandit. I wasn't really going to talk about it because there's not much to say, but it took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours today to do it. Yeah. It's real straightforward. And you just need to... There's only like one achievement you need 3 players and one achievement you need 4 players. So if you have extra controllers, you can do it. Otherwise, just get someone to jump in.
Rough around the edges, right?
Yeah, it's... Yeah. I mean, like, it's fine. It's real straightforward. Like, it is essentially like, it is much like a sort of like Gang Beasts party style game where you got to bust some things up and grab some loot. It was really, really straightforward. Like, the TA walkthrough is really, really good. So I recommend that. Just get it done. And because it's leaving Game Pass, there'll be a bunch of people who have it installed to help you out with the multiplayer.
Cool.
It'll take, but like the multiplayer took me like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Chained Echoes, I highly recommend if you have any interest in JRPGs whatsoever. It is an absolute love letter to the old Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
I think the only problem with it is has a lot of mechanics. Like it's quite mechanic heavy in terms of, and like not all of them are useful, but it has like nice assist modes and options to help you out with the combat. You can play through almost all of it on easy.
How long is that?
I can have. Let me just have a quick look at how long it took me because I did all of it.
I started last year around Christmas, and I found myself really not gelling with it. The estimate is 50 to 60 hours. It took me 33. Okay.
So somewhere in between there probably. I think we used the Neomaster guide was quite good. So yeah, that gets most of it. There aren't really, like it. I
didn't think there was missables or anything, was there?
Not really. I think most of it. I think there's a couple of things you just got to keep an eye out for, but like nothing major. Okay. It is a very much a like Final Fantasy VI vibe to it, where it's like big party, a lot of like world saving stuff. Interesting. Yeah, like it's very much. It was built 95% of it or so was built by one guy.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible. So I would like if you have any interest in JRPGs, I kind of played it earlier. Go back and listen to some of the old episodes when I talked about it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Cool. Opus Magnum is also on my list to do. I'm probably going to work on that on my laptop while I'm away. It's kind of just my like.
I think the only caveat is I think it's got hack match in it.
Does it really? I thought. Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong Zachtronics game.
No, I thought it was more straightforward than that, but I might be wrong. I don't know much about Zachtronic stuff, but.
Let me just double check.
Because I think it definitely has like the lowest ratio of any of those Zachtronic games. And then Potion Craft.
I hate those hack match though.
Yeah. And I guess with Potion Craft, I might just transition us into what we've been playing because I have been playing a little bit of Potion Craft this afternoon.
Actually, no. Magnus is pretty fine.
Yeah,
you've got Sigma's Garden. Got to win 100 matches of.
Right.
But no, I think you have to put time into it. Yeah, 25 hours.
I'll have a look. Yeah, that looks fine. So I started playing Potion Craft because I saw it was on the list this week, and I did Rubber Bandits. I've already done Chained Echoes, so it's just Opus Magnum and Potion Craft won the coin toss. I've like 2 hours into this game, and I'm already fucking bored. This game is not good.
I thought Adrian really liked this. I
don't get it. So the whole game is like it's a mobile game basically. Like you have like 4 screens, and you basically go to your garden, pick up all the stuff for the day of your materials, go to your potion making thing, try and make a potion with the ingredients, and the ingredients move your potion icon, and you got to try and match it into an icon that makes the potion that you need. And so basically it's like the ingredients that you use are the thing that get you to make the potion. It's kind of like an abstracted way of like making stuff together. And it's like you can get further on along a line, but they all have different shapes. So like one will be like a zigzag to the left or the right, one will be like a spiral. So you can kind of use different materials to get yourself to different parts of this like map that essentially the idea is like an abstract way of saying, oh, if you're making a potion, you got to crush up this amount of this thing and also add this thing then, and then stir it this many times. And it's kind of like an interesting kind of mini game thing. It's quite frustrating, and it's really, really precise if you want to try and get like 100%. And yeah, it's quite frustrating. And then what you do is basically you can save those to your book and basically just use the materials each time rather than playing the mini game. But if you want to get like the good stuff, or you want to do like a potion that does 2 different things, you need to like start at one and move it to another one. But obviously it uses the material. So like if you fuck it up and you're like, oh, I need to go back the other way, I'm going to put another material in there. Every time you make that potion that way, we'll use an extra material from your fuck up. So you want to try and make your like from the center to wherever you're going to be like the shortest route possible with the least amount of materials.
Yeah.
It's really, really precise. It's quite frustrating, and it's so crushingly boring. The music is just drones on and on. And you basically then go to the left and basically sell you, like you have people come and be like, hey, I need one of your strongest potions. And you do the potion seller meme thing, and like you get a joke about that earlier on. But it's just, I don't know, like I'm still only a couple hours into it, but it's really grindy.
Yeah.
And
decent
I'm really not looking for...
Decent.
I think a lot of people probably bounced off this really fast because there's not really a lot. I mean, again, I'm early. I know you unlock more potion types and more maps to kind of move your potion thing around to discover new stuff, and you kind of get this like the other alchemy thing where you kind of mix potions together to make like salts and stuff. So I think there's like more depth to it, but I'm gonna do it obviously because I started it and I was like, hey, it's on Game Pass leaving. I should mean to get around to it, but I don't think I'm gonna have a great time with it. But we'll see.
I'm just having a quick look. I know that when it hit Game Pass last year, people were having issues with, I think after a save got after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, so if you have too many save files, it will break your game basically. Okay. So they say only keep 2 manual saves. Don't have any more than that. Yeah. Because the auto saving system has a bug in it where it'll essentially just keep creating them over and over and over again and just crash your game. Yeah, so it's kind of a mess. But you know me, I'll play everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what have you been working on?
Okay, so essentially this week has been very much a backlog week for me. I've got RoboQuest down to 2 achievements. I missed by 5 seconds today.
Last night was like 10 minutes, right? You're out.
Yeah, so I did a solo run, getting the S rank on Guardian 4. So I've done a complete run of Guardian 4 now. I've been working on making a very strong cryo build. And I nearly had it today. I just could not deal the amount of damage quick enough. Sorry, that was yesterday. I couldn't deal the amount of damage quick enough. I then died like 10% of the boss at the very end today. There's a Wonka Bar achievement, which is essentially spend 6 power cells, and it will either take them or reward you 20. I'm having the worst RNG with it.
No, you just lose it every time.
Lose it every time. So yeah, I've been focusing on those 2. I worked with Keo earlier in the week to essentially trade off the tuning and the design achievements, so they're done now. I've got like 8 multiplayer and 2 campaign tours to do, and then that's done. And then Remnant 2 with you, which we can talk about together if you want.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just kind of touch on. I've been playing, working on Yu-Gi-Oh. Picked it up at the Black Friday sale.
I did that as well. It's boring. It's just exotic. I do not understand new Yu-Gi-Oh.
So I've been entertaining myself by going back and watching the abridged series at the same time while playing it. It's still fucking hilarious. I have actually been cracking up laughing, like this. It's 15 years old. It's still really fucking funny. Is
that Team 4-Star?
No, that was before that. That was the little Grebo before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the one who started the whole trend.
Yeah. I still Sword Art Online is my favorite abridged series ever.
There's some good ones out there. I need to go. I'm probably gonna. I feel like I'm on a bit of a kick where I'm gonna go back and watch a lot of that shit.
What is there? There's Hellsing. There's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Dragon Ball Z was the big one. Naruto as well. Basically, any of those sort of early 90s anime got a lot of that.
Yeah.
So Yu-Gi-Oh's been really. There's so many fucking duels you have to do in that game. Like, I get that that's the game, right? But fuck me, you just do the same shit over and over again.
I've got like 5 achievements, and I'm still like halfway through the game and having to, do the reverse duels are too much.
Yeah, there's no reason to do them. So I've done the campaign and the reverse duels, and now I'm just doing the battle packs where you got to fight everyone once more time for some fucking reason. So whatever, that's getting that done. I'll have it done this weekend. It's just kind of I've been putting it on just as like background stuff.
Are you gonna do the? Have you done the other one?
No, I will at some stage, but not right away. I'm going to take a fucking break because it's the same game.
Yeah.
So the stuff that I've actually been playing, like really getting into, Evil West.
Yep.
So I also picked this up when it was on sale. Sort of sleeper hit from last year. In that sort of, it's
quality AA title, yeah.
Yeah, basically, Focus Interactive published it, so it's kind of like it's that level of like stuff that you would usually see on the 360 that we just don't get made anymore.
Yeah.
But with actually like a surprising level of polish to it. Looks actually quite nice. This game's fucking great. It's like a third-person brawler mixed with a third-person shooter, where it's like you have hold down your trigger, so you have you hold down your trigger to pull out your gun, or you just push so you hold down your left trigger to pull out your rifle.
Yep.
Or just press the right trigger to start shooting from the hip with your pistol. Just fan the hammer. Or you press right bumper and just start punching guys in the face. You do like dodges and shit and just start duking them. And then you get like every single level in this game is like, hey, do you want a cool new weapon or a new ability? We're just going to keep giving them to you. The levels also aren't that long. The levels are like maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like we're going to give you like a stun ability. We're going to give you a fucking flamethrower. We're going to give you a crossbow. We're going to upgrade your punch thing so you can like punch people up into the air and then punch them into other enemies and shit.
Nice.
There's so much going on in this game. They give you a shotgun. I keep forgetting to fucking use it. It's fucking really, really cool. And every level is not that long, and they all feel quite distinct and interesting. And like it's linear. There's no open world bullshit. There are a lot of collectibles, but you keep a guide up, you'll be fine. There's they have like 2 big upgrade trees from like upgrading your weapons and also upgrading your abilities. The story's kind of interesting. It's like Wild West. Vampire hunters.
Yep.
Shitload of like From Dusk Till Dawn references and jokes and stuff all the way through it. Obviously know this like kind of like the mythos of this kind of stuff really well. It's like interesting, has like interesting world building. It's a little bit rough around the edges in terms of like its like production. Like you'll see the thing where like whenever you're not in a cutscene, like if you're just walking around and when like the like dialogue between characters, they don't have the mouth movement, they just have the sound, because they're just like, because they don't think you're going to be looking at the faces. But I was like, you're not talking, like you're saying things and you guys are having a conversation, but your mouth isn't moving. But I don't know, it's like not a major. And it's like it's cheesy and kind of over the top, like kind of not quite B movie, but kind of like B-esque like level movie. Like I don't know, I'm having a really fucking good time with it. It's like 16 levels long, and I think I'm on like level 9 or 10.
Is it one of those? This is a video game. Yeah,
exactly. That's 100% what it is. It's a fucking. Cool. It is an unashamedly video game.
Cool.
So I'm playing through on story at the moment, just getting all the collectibles, because you need to do 2 playthroughs anyway. And then I'm going to do like my evil playthrough, which I think is going to get a lot tougher.
How bad are the missables?
It's just basically collectibles is the main thing. You just got to keep an eye out for. So just have a guide up for. There's a lot of collectibles, but they're all just kind of like you don't have to go too far off the beaten path to get most of them.
So no chapter select, nothing like that.
There is a chapter select afterwards, yeah. But the guides advise kind of trying to get them, because you need a certain amount. Like you get cash as your collectibles, and you use those to upgrade your guns.
Okay.
And then you have your leveling system for your perks. So it's like you need 2 full playthroughs of all the cash to buy all the weapons or upgrades. So like you don't really want to fuck around with chapter select too much.
So normal first run and then evil.
Yeah, do like a story mode first run, just easy through it, and then just do a evil, which is the highest difficulty afterwards, and just like a new game plus thing.
Damn, I want to play this now.
Yeah, it's real fucking good. It's also not super long either. Like I said, like I'm a few hours into it. I'm just kind of playing it like a couple of chapters at a time as kind of like a fun, like blow off steam and just kind of just relax game.
Yeah.
We'll see how I do when I get to the high difficulty, but yeah, and it has like boss fights and shit. Like it's a real fucking like video game.
Yeah. Now we talked originally about this like when Skill Up did his review.
Yeah, he said he really enjoyed it, and I think I echo a lot of that sentiment.
Has there been like much visual improvement? Like how are the patches?
It seems fine. Like I haven't it hasn't really been any major issues. I mean, I really like what they do in the environments. Every environment feels quite distinct. Like you go from like one area where you're in like a canyon, that classic like cowboys in the canyons and the bandits jump down and shit, to like underground temples and caves and shit, and like a weird mystical swamp, and then like there's a whole like spider bit. Like it's like it feels like it's ticking off all the boxes. And I was like, this game is supposed to be like set in like the Wild West America, but they're like, yeah, you're gonna go to a snowy mountain. Fuck yeah, you are. I'm like, all right, cool. Fucking, I'm down for it. The level I'm on now is like a giant oil field.
Is this game co-op?
No, it's all single player.
Are you sure?
Well, actually, no, sorry. I believe it is co-op, but I don't know if achievements are co-op.
Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I was just having a look then, and there's a like Player 2, which does co-op game reviews.
Yeah,
reviewed and all that. And I was like, oh. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, actually, I forgot. Yeah, but I don't think the achievements are co-op, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, definitely recommend it. It's on sale right now for Black Friday. I think it was. I don't know if it still is, but
yeah, I think it's still like 50% off.
Yeah, definitely with like that's a great price point for that game.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Remnant?
I mean, what's there to say? In terms
it's good.
It's good. We're enjoying it. What have we? I can't even remember what we've done this week.
So we got through most. We got through that. The
old townie kind of.
Yeah. I got to do my bad British accent and ask people if they had a stabbing license on them because they all had British accents and came at you with swords. It's just fucking Bloodborne. This game is just like, hey, Bloodborne's pretty cool, right? Let's just do that.
Let's just do a whole level devoted to Bloodborne.
Yeah, it makes sense. They're like, hey, yeah, we know we know what we're stealing from. I've enjoyed the worlds quite a bit.
I grabbed a ring. I got dragged underwater. Matt died for some reason because of it.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck that happened. And then I got grabbed by a fucking weird fucking rat thing. Got pulled into a dungeon, and we found a weird stone. Yeah, this game's like full of secrets and interesting shit. It's more of the same. I think we're having a great time with it. We're on like the last of the three. There's this like 3 randomized worlds, and you kind of get them in a different order. And also, there's 2 versions of each world, so technically there are 6 worlds, but you only play through 3 of them each playthrough. So I think we're maybe like halfway through that one, the third one, and then it's like the final area that we need to go to, and then we got to do a bunch of RNG re-rolling to try and get the shit we've missed.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it. Again, my biggest problems with the game is that it's a little bit maybe too RNG for a lot of the stuff, but
boss design's amazing though.
Yeah, bosses are really cool.
Yeah, I as much as I like the world design in terms of how it looks, I think it's a little bit over the top.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, yeah.
I know, it feels like a lot bigger than what it should be to me.
I
don't like grand scale kind of thinking.
That's fair. I actually really enjoy it. I like that also the area that we're in now is also from the original game as well.
Yeah.
They kind of bring that back, which is cool.
I like how they've like obviously built up the IP and it is a universe. It isn't just a Remnant is a RNG kind of game. It's like, no, you're tying it back to the original game in terms of characters
there's
and that.
A lot of references to it and stuff, which is cool. I'm curious to see what the DLC looks like as well. Apparently only one person needs to own it, which is nice.
Yeah. Shutting up.
Yeah, fine.
I kid. We can go halves. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll work it out. And then the last thing I've been playing is Sonic Frontiers. So again, I've been kind of going. I bought like 10 games over this part of the Black Friday sale because I was like,
let me get defensive for a second.
What the fuck is wrong with you? This game sucks. This game sucks.
This was a bonding experience with my daughter.
It's like, look, you can't let that familial bullshit fucking blind you to the fact that this is one of the worst Sonic games I've ever played. Like, okay,
the bar isn't that high, buddy.
The bar is not high. Okay, yeah, sure, I will give you that, right? the best thing in this game is the music, and that's only good because it's all just tracks from the other Sonic games.
What do you mean? What about the original music from the
original
kind of bands that I like?
It's not good.
You don't like One OK Rock? You don't like Sleeping Sirens? Obviously, you don't. Like, that's my kind of music.
Sure, but look. Okay, let me put it this way. This game has made me go back and be like, I want to play some old Sonic games because I'm trying to remember if I like them or not. But I've also just been playing a shitload of Sonic music just on Spotify. Like I basically went through the entire Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack, which is a fucking banger. Every single song on there is amazing. Fucking just like Crush 40, like Live and Learn, so good.
I'm trying to think. Is it Generations 2 that has like the really weird intro?
Do they do a Generations 2? You mean Generations just the original?
Maybe. I don't know, one of the 360 titles I played, and it's just like Sonic has to help the police or something, and it's...
Oh, is that? Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it can get weird. Anyway.
Sonic Generations also has a great soundtrack, but again, that also doesn't count because they're just remixes of the Sonic Generations is literally, they were like, here's 9 Sonic games, and we just redid like the best parts of them. It's a greatest hits, which is, again, fantastic. This game sucks. Like, Sonic Frontiers is a bad game. The conceit of this game is you are going to an island because the Chaos Emeralds are there. You and your friends get sucked into a time portal into cyberspace. You escape. Your friends can't for some reason. You have to go around an island collecting the Chaos Emeralds by doing mini running levels, which are like really cool parts, and getting keys to unlock the Chaos Emeralds, but also collecting so much bullshit. This endless amounts of shit where it's like, okay, well, in order to talk to Amy, you need to collect 50 of these fuck off tokens.
You know why I like this game though compared to you? I'm going to just say it right now. This is a turn off your brain and not worry about it.
100% it is. But I was like, oh my God.
This is why I enjoy it.
There's so many collectibles. Like it's the game is all collectibles. It's all like, hey, do like a mini 2-second like speed, like a little speed or jumping platform thing to get a little mini collectible that doesn't mean anything. And repeat that ad nauseum for 30 hours. And like the game does not the game from minute 1 does not change at all to minute 10, to minute 100, to minute 1,000. Like it is the thing that you're doing at the beginning of the game. You go to 5, but 4 main islands to repeat the exact same activities over and over and over again. You barely get any, you don't really get any new abilities. You get kind of some new combat abilities. Also, the combat is terrible. The combat's just bad. It's just bad. Like it is not well optimized. The controls are terrible. Like the platforming is not good.
Are you saying normal combat? You're saying boss combat? Like
the boss combat is okay.
I quite like the boss fights. I thought the boss fights were
the supersonic boss fight stuff is that's the interesting parts of the game, right?
You know the grand scale like Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, and I agree on those. Like, those boss fights are cool. There's only 4 of them in the game. But, the fact that it's I saw the thing where it's oh, you finished the first boss, and now we're going to go to another island. And I was like, oh, okay, what are we going to do on this island? Oh, I got shot, and I lost all the Chaos Emeralds again. Oh. And I was like, oh, they're going to change it up? No, it's literally okay, well, now you got to find Knuckles, but now you're in a desert. Also, you need to reveal all the map with do these little weird challenge things. The weird challenge things are okay. I didn't mind those too much because they kind of had a purpose or a little puzzle thing going on. Yeah. But then it was now do this bouncy thing and get a collectible. Get a collectible. Also, collect these little guys walking around so you can level up your speed or your ring capacity. But also make sure you collect the red hearts to increase your attack damage and the blue ones to make sure that you get your defense up. And you probably need about 250 of each of them. So they're all over the place. And enemies drop them. You also need experience to get your skill points up to learn new abilities. There's so much shit in this game.
With your leveling, your speed and your strength, and I think it was speed and strength.
So it's strength and defense with the two type of hearts, and then it was speed and ring capacity for the little dudes, villager dudes that you pick.
Well, with that, have they actually updated it so you can do more than one at a time?
Yes, you can do it all. Okay. Thankfully, you thank fuck for that.
The problem that I had when I was playing it is it was upgrade it one at a time.
And you need to get level 99, so you'd have to do it 99 times. But thankfully now you can just use all of them for this.
Yeah.
So they have patched that, and they have added extra stuff to the game. But
They've added it actually in terms of any game that's come out in the last year. The amount of free content for this game has actually been quite remarkable.
Before I played this game, I would agree. There is no game here. They've added the game after release. Is basically what they've done here, because the only real game in this game is collecting shit in an open world where things just pop in and just random platforms floating around and are kind of waste of time. All you do is like fun, like 2 to 5 minute like mini like straightforward
like the mini level kind of
like
stuff,
traditional Sonic levels, basically, right? Which are kind of the best part of this game. But like the game doesn't want you to do all this shit. The game knows that you're going to get fucked off at it quite quickly, because it also offers you to go fishing, and you can just go and hang out with Big the cat, and you're like, hey, do you have some coins? You want to do some fishing? And I'm like, I guess I could do some fishing. I need the achievement. And you just start pulling up stuff, and you get like points for every fish that you catch. Fishing is like brain dead. And then he's like, hey, do you want to buy some stuff from the shop? I'm like, I guess. And I look at the shop. Oh, it's all the collectibles. So once you get tired of actually playing the game, you could be like, hey, if you just go fishing for like 3 hours, well, you could actually just buy all the collectibles and just not play the game. So they knew the game was bad, and they knew the collectibles sucked. Like how the fuck did people like this game's got like 8s and 7s and shit from people? Like, they have Stockholm syndrome. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
This is like this is on my game of the year list.
Yeah, what the fuck? I put like 17 hours or so. Like I think it was like 15 or 16 hours.
You know what though? This is a damn video game.
It's not.
Yes,
this is a developer sandbox of a video game.
I will say I will say in terms of, I think moving forward, the next version of this game is going to be a lot better.
I mean, I agree. If they ever make another Sonic game, which I hope they do.
If I was to be critical of anything, it's the pop-in. The pop-in is
really bad. Yes.
Pop-in is like absolutely terrible. But in terms of like when I play games, you think of like the Forza Horizon kind of stuff where it's like autopilot kind of motions. This was very much a game that I could have my 3-year-old daughter at the time pass her a controller, and she could explore this massive sandbox and love it, because it's a character.
She's a child. That doesn't make this a good game. That's what I'm saying, is that if a child can do it, it probably means that there isn't enough to the game.
But if a child can do it and the child enjoys it, and
that doesn't make it a good game either.
I'm not. What I'm saying is, it's a good game to me.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're wrong. I'm saying
if something brings my daughter joy,
sure, but that's not about the game. And this is what I'm saying, is that the way that this game, like,
is this how you treat us?
Yes, all the time. You should hear us discuss movies. Let me put it this way.
I'm sorry, you're wrong vibes.
Yeah, basically, I was playing this. So before, I kind of alluded to this last week, where I started it for a bit and I wasn't gelling with it.
Yeah. And
I was trying to think about then, like, what was the thing that wasn't. I felt like there was something wrong. I was like, why is this not like? Because the speed is cool. Like, I liked they got the Sonic speed really good. Like, they could fucking you can zip across the map. The grinding and shit's cool.
If you came to me and said like the story's trash and all that, like I'd be like,
all right, story is absolute trash.
I quite like. I'm not sure if you've completed the game yet.
Yeah, I finished. Okay. I completed. I did all the achievements.
I enjoyed the ending.
I
enjoyed the ending for what it was.
I guess so. I didn't. I just thought it was. I thought it was all just like. I mean, look, I played a lot of Sonic games.
Whereas I haven't.
Yeah. So for example, like Sonic Adventure or Adventure 2, right? Is like the story's not the reason to play the game, right? Yeah. It's to be Sonic and do cool shit, right? But I still really enjoyed, like, the Sonic Adventure 2 in particular is one of my favorite narratives of like the Sonic genre. Yeah. For whatever that is, and it's kind of cool and interesting. And I was kind of hoping for more of that here.
Okay.
It's something to tie it together. Like Eggman is barely in this game.
Yeah.
The villains are kind of there are basically no villains as such in this game, because they're all soulless robots.
Obstacles essentially.
Yeah, essentially the game is an obstacle course, and that's all it is, right? It is basically like. It reminded me of like the world's like all 5 of the islands are completely lifeless. They just have these weird platforming puzzles just dotted around the place haphazardly. Like, it reminded me a lot of Immortals: Phoenix Rising, where you have a lot of puzzles everywhere, but there's just like way too many of them everywhere, and of very little consequence. And like I said, like the collectibles don't really matter because they just give them to you when you kill enemies, or when you just buy them from the shop. So it means that like there's not really an incentive to actually collect a lot of this stuff if you can avoid it.
Okay. The best way to explain this for me is like the feel. Like I enjoy the feel of the game. Yeah, it's very much I can go and order. Like let me get this sorted. Very much like I can go and autopilot. I like the speed. I quite enjoy the combat. I thought the boss fights were cool. I like the music. I like the fact that I can pass this on to my daughter and she can pick it up and understand what she needs to be doing. For the most part, if like and boss fights and all that, she's not going to be able to. But she likes the look of it. The only the stuff I will give you is the world design is like
it's dead.
It's not empty. It's filled with a whole bunch of random crap. And I think
it kind of reminds me of like you. Do you remember? I'm sorry, I can't remember the game, but do you remember when there was?
I want to finish one thought. Sorry, level design. The thing that they should have done is like if there's an ice world, they should have incorporated that in. Like they should have made that level design. The fact that everything's like very metallic and floating and all that. If this was just essentially a whole big obstacle course that you could just skate along and all that, or speed along, I would be fine with that because that would be the cool element of it to me. I still enjoy the feel of the game, but by the terms of like the visual design and all that, they should have integrated that into the world design.
Yeah, especially like from Sonic, where it's like Sonic has so much like Sonic is one of those games that has like 50 different acts and areas that they've done in the past games, from like Hydro Zone and Chemical Plant. Like there has such a rich history of things that they do for these kinds of games, and there's none of that in this game. It's a regular island, a sandy island.
Sorry, there's none of it in the game in the above world. Like when you get to the you do the levels,
the cyberspace stuff is actually like pretty good. Like I'll give you like 100%. Like those are like they play like traditional Sonic levels and they're quite good for the most part. They're not perfect, but they're definitely the best.
They take the original ideas and they put like unique spins on them.
Yeah, which I like. I think like I like doing like the sort of like messed up version of Green Hill Zone and stuff.
Yeah.
But the kind of like overworld stuff, which is the majority of the game, it's like I'd say like 80% of the game, is a regular island, a sandy island with sand dunes and canyons, a volcanic island, and then another 2 regular islands.
Yeah,
like that's the entire game. And you lose the Chaos Emeralds every single time in the same way, and you have to do exactly the same. Like I was hoping that there would be like some sort of gameplay hook or change between the islands to make that kind of thing interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just the same thing copied and pasted 4 times. Like you do the same kinds of puzzles to unlock the items. You collect the same kinds of things. You do the same kind of vaults. There was a couple of like each of them have like a couple of interesting things going on with like the mini games and stuff, which was kind of fun. Like there's the pinball part, which I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that. But I was like, why isn't there more of this in the game? Why don't they have more variety? And the game feels like, and I'll finish on this point, but it reminds me of a developer sandbox where they're like, I remember there was a car game that were going out with, I can't remember who was making it, but it was on like early access for a long time. And like, hey, this is like, we're going to put you in like an endless, like, you think like the Matrix where it's like the endless white. And it's like, there's nothing out there. It's just endless white, but we put a shitload of like ramps and like loop-de-loops and shit. And you can like test out the destruction physics by like playing around in this playground of like going off ramps and doing jumps and spins and shit and just kind of seeing how the game reacts and how it looks and stuff, without having the actual like trappings of like a story or environments or any of that kind of stuff. Like it's pure gameplay, and that's what this game is. It's pure gameplay, but unfortunately, that isn't enough. There isn't enough variety in the gameplay itself for it to really constitute being fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like the combat doesn't help that in a lot of ways.
I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna sit here and disagree. Yeah. Like I will give you the visual design, I will give you like stuff like that, but in terms of the feeling of this game, that's what's enjoyable with me. But you're a much more narrative led.
Sure, but but even like the controls, like even like the way this game controls is not great. Like I had a lot of instances where
on the advanced platforming or.
Yeah, basically it's like there's issues with like the way the boost works. Essentially, is like because the game works a lot of the ways of like going down a rail, hitting a spring, and getting boosted to the next rail or whatever. But if you hit boost at any time during that kind of, because the whole thing is that when that happens, you don't want to touch anything because you don't want to fuck anything up. You want it to do the thing for you. But if you make any kind of movement, you'll fuck that jump up completely, even though you have very little control. And that's not unique to this game. That is a Sonic problem. And so like I noticed that a lot, and there was way too many instances of like the homing attacks not working correctly, or like the jumps kind of being weird and that kind of stuff. And like part of that is because the game wants you to go quickly, but also make like precision jumps at times. This is, and again, like I said, this is a Sonic problem in general when you're making it, like especially a 3D Sonic game where it's like, how do you make that balance? So this isn't unique to this game, but I definitely noticed it here because it's been a long time since Sonic 06, right? Or Sonic Forces. But I just, I got to be honest, like I finished it and I was like, man, I just did the same thing 4 times in a row. Like the 4th island you go to is like you don't collect any Chaos Emeralds. You just go up like 6 different towers and do like platforming puzzles to get to the top of them. Yeah. And like that was probably my most fun part of the game. I was like, oh, actually, this is like condensed fun. Like they basically did what they did in like those mini cyberspace levels, but just condensed it down into like, hey, here's a goal, get to the top of this tower. And there's this part like not this whole game isn't bad, but I feel like if it was half the size and maybe like spread out a bit more, or kind of, I don't know, it feels a bit like the puzzle stuff feels very slapdash. I wish it was maybe a bit more curated. It's kind of, I think, my main issue with it.
I do think they will take a lot of the learnings from this. Like this game did well. I don't think
the tech is good.
Yeah. I don't think they're immediately going to go into the next game and go like, all right, we're going to do like a carbon copy. I really do believe they're going to take a lot of the criticism on board, make it more diverse combat, make it like, but like if they can capture this feel of what it was to me in terms of the gameplay elements of it, and just what's the biggest problem? World design, narrative, and just variety essentially.
And variety is those are the 3 main issues with that game. Yeah.
I'll still buy the next one though, and
I'll probably play. Like I enjoy Sonic games. Like I'll probably check out the next one as well. At some stage, like I'll probably wait for a sale like I did for this one. But it's making me want to go back and check out the old ones that I've yet to finish. So I think I need to do like Sonic CD,
Team Sonic Racing,
and not Team Sonic. Well, I did the original Sonic Racing, but I'm definitely not doing the second one. So I need to do Sonic CD. I got to do one of the Sonic 4s, I think episode 2.
Yeah.
And I got to go back and do Sonic Adventure and Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed is actually one of my favorites for like its
Sonic
soundtrack.
Unleashed looks cool. Like Percy just puts the that's the one he turns into a werewolf, yeah?
Werewolf, the werehog thing, yeah. See, like that game has problems as well, especially because like half of it is original like third-person brawler style, like God of War style game, and the other half is the running bits.
Persephone just puts the cutscenes for that game on YouTube, and it's just like, what do you watch? It's such a really like it's cool, but like it's so weird.
Like narratively, like it's very strange and interesting. I kind of like the thing where you go to like different parts of the world. Obviously, they're not named what they're named, but you can figure out where it is.
Yeah.
I actually like Unleashed quite a bit. The achievements are fucking bullshit. The getting all the hot dogs in that game is enough to make you cry. I think But anyway, that's enough out of Sonic. We'll speed past that. But who knows? Maybe. I mean, they also, they announced that they've started filming for Sonic 3 now, the movie. So
comes out December next year.
Cool. I'll watch that. I enjoyed both of them.
The only thing I'm disappointed about with Sonic 3 is no Jim Carrey.
Wow, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Officially no Jim Carrey, but come on.
I mean, it would be amazing to have. Like, it's just one of those roles that he's just had so much fun with.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'd be very interested to see what they do with Shadow.
Yeah, Man, they need to port Shadow the Hedgehog, that fucking like edgelord game onto other like. We haven't. I think that game kind of died on the PS2. Like it never made it across.
That is like one of the PS2 games that I can remember that did not physically work. Like the disc would not read. So I never got to it.
I mean, the game's bad. The game is bad.
Oh, 100%. But like 10-year-old me won't know. Like 10-year-old wouldn't have figured that out because I didn't get the chance to play it. So
people thought Shadow was so edgelord cool back in the Dreamcast days that they retconned his death from Sonic Adventure 2 to make a whole new game about him. So,
jeez.
which also took all the emotional meaning out of that story. But that's fine. It doesn't matter because it's fucking anthropomorphic hedgehogs racing each other down an endless highway of in space. Sonic Adventure 2 is a fucking trip, and I would say people need to check that game out. It's fucking amazing. Who would
have known that the movies would have like revitalized Sonic? So
they hit it right, you know. I mean, I enjoy Sonic, but I've never been like a huge Sonic. Like I've been like, oh, I gotta play every Sonic game. But the movies are good, and like kind of getting me to go back to it. And I was excited to play Frontiers when I saw it.
So good that they actually retconned the design.
Yeah, for sure, that worked out really well for them. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's everything we've been playing. I'll just quickly go through the leaderboards. So on our Xbox leaderboards, you can come join us on TA. Hit us up for an invite. We'll get you on the board there. Maybe you can be in the top 3. So we've got Mad Eye Pad Eye with 14,930. We've got Thrash Forever with 23,845. And we have Martel with 43,065. Which is some big fucking numbers. Although I think the TA scanners are down at the moment, so it's been a while since they've been updated. But I can't imagine they put up too much more score than that. Do you want to go through completions?
Yep. So we had Phoenix Frost with Ark, Bulbasaur with Row Request. God damn you, Bob. Actually, I should shout out. He has tried to help me, but we're just terrible together. Dude that writes long reviews at Genital Jousting.
Yeah, he got all the Steam Tunes for Genital Jousting.
It's like such
a Devour classic.
Yeah. Shadow Slide, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Seafood Sticks, High on Life. I should go back and do High on Life. That's probably one of those games that will.
Yeah, probably not too far from leaving because January probably. Yeah.
Rupture did This Room, Firehawk did Eastwood, Left for Legacy did Paul Blitz, and Just Jake did Nino Cooney.
Some good completions. We had a little bit of a quiet week last week, so it's good to see some more completions on there this week. And then the word challenge, everyone's favorite competition, where I, or apparently someone else, comes up with a game and gets people to guess it. So Cameron was like, hey, pick me. So I let Cameron pick the game. So he's going to read out the clue for this week.
Oh, what did I say? All right, so clue 1 is, this is not... I said I was announcing the games this week, and they immediately just jumped on like Forza Horizon, Age of Empires, and all that.
All the obvious shit.
All right, I will make this... this clue is kind of a give me. This is not an Xbox title.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So that means it's never been on an Xbox console at all.
Never been on an Xbox console at all.
Okay, well that narrows it down a little bit, I guess. So good luck, everyone. If you want to enter the competition, join our Discord and go to the Word Challenge channel, and you can if you type the name of the game in there, you get 1 guess per hour, and you get it right, a gift pops up, and you win some money or a prize or something. We work it out afterwards. Yeah. So best of luck to everyone. Like I said, join the Discord for other reasons too. We've got our podcast channel on there. We put all of our updates. We've got our shitposting channel. We've got all kinds of stuff in there. Good place to ask questions as well. Isaac chucks his questions there. We get a bit of discussion going. Probably going to talk a little bit about that in the future as well for kind of getting some. Maybe we might do like a question episode or something.
Boosting as well as if you get any game recommendations. Yeah, like the community is a great way to get recommendations of, especially in terms of achievement hunting.
We have a wealth of knowledge, especially on the achievement hunting side in that Discord. So definitely make use of it. All right, well, we've got our Patreons. Patreon.com/AllTheGamers, the people who make this all possible, help keep the lights on. So we've got Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, The Tolinator, Mad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavaliers 07, Old Mate, Clown, Mark B, McLovin Legend, Mace J, Left for Legacy, and McNulty. Thank you all very much. Like I said, we literally could not afford to do the show without you guys. All your subscriptions help pay for things like licensing, for like Zoom, paying for Zoom because it's fucking expensive, for being able to host the show on our podcast platforms and that kind of stuff, and for prizes for competitions, and occasionally equipment when things fuck out. So we really, really appreciate it. We do have some behind the scenes content that we do for our Patrons. So we do behind the scenes like before and after the shows. So I kind of put that together as kind of maybe usually like a 10 to 30 minute, depending on how chatty we're feeling, thing that you can listen to. Any songs of the week or extra bonus content that we do. Our spoiler casts are going to be on Patreon over the holidays. So, and we also don't gate any of that by tiers of like how much you want to give. So I'm happy for people to give whatever they can. The lowest tier will give you all the content. We're not really interested in kind of hide or gating that too much. We just want to, if people want to support the show, that we're more than happy to have them on board.
Help us pay for a light, and we'll throw some content.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That helps. All right. And as always, we're doing the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Like I said at the top of the show, come hang out with us with people like David, Killer Anubis, and Left for Legacy. Hanging out in the chat, ask some questions, all that kind of stuff. We appreciate all the support. And that's going to bring us towards the end of the show. Cameron, what have you got going on?
I'm probably just going to try and get these goddamn RoboQuest achievements.
You going to stream it?
Nah, probably not. I don't know. I'll see how I feel over the weekend, but sure. I wanna move on to some. I want to get onto Rollerdrome.
Yeah,
I've kind of restricted myself. Like I need to finish one game before I move on to the next.
No, that doesn't sound like you.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I need to.
And yeah, I don't have a huge amount going on. I'm going to be away a little bit next week, so my game playing capacity is probably going to be a bit limited. But I'm going to try and get through Evil West, and I have a few games in my sort of recent purchase history where I'm like, I picked up Katamari, and I really want to play Katamari 2. So again, there probably won't be much to talk about there because it's more of the same.
I don't know why, but my TikTok's recommending to me like Katamari like videos at the moment.
Katamari's great.
There was just this like airport conveyor wheel, and they're just massive suitcase pile. It's like, all right, cool. This must be a Katamari ad.
Yep, absolutely. You want to talk about a game with good music? Katamari is fucking great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to wrap up episode 103. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye, everyone.